often founders wait for later in creating a mission statement. And that they're either focused on that first client or customer, their product or service, hiring a few of their team members. When does it make sense, in your experience, Kelly, to create a mission statement? And what are those two elements you believe that create a winning company culture? That's a loaded question, but you've written about it. We're going to hear it here on the Founders Sandbox.
Well, Brenda, I think that it's really important to have a mission from really early days.
Okay.
And I think you're right in that companies often feel like they need to figure out their product, they figure out the service, they figure out their operational cadence, they go get the first customers. But it can be very confusing if you don't understand where you're going. The way I like to describe it is building a business as you hire employees and as you get investors and as you find your first customers and partners. It's building with these building blocks, similar to having a map.
Okay.
If you have a map, you have to have a destination. You have to know where you're headed, because otherwise you can get very lost. And so although companies might not have their exact wording of a mission statement from very early days, it's important. I mean, I think it's important to have a mission from right from the beginning. When I talk about Tableau, from the time I started, the mission was help people see and understand data. And that was something that I really was drawn to, which is how I ended up joining as the first salesperson and employee 10 before we even launched version 1. Because everyone then that we were hiring, our customers, the whole team was aligned on what it is that we were doing. What was the company's purpose? What was our why? And what ends up happening is when companies are not clear on what that is, you might hire different people that all know you're building something in this space, but they may have very different ideas of the reason and the purpose of the company, the why of the company. And so it's really imperative to not only drive the alignment, but to also be able to make sure that the people that you're hiring to go on this journey with you are passionate and committed to what it is that you're trying to build. And if you don't have a stated mission, then everyone will come up with their own definition and reason for why you exist. And it's not always the same. And one thing, Brenda, that I really liked, like for instance, when you started off and kicked off this podcast, the first thing you said is, at the Founder Sandbox, our mission is this, and you explained it. So everyone knows what it is that what your purpose is and why they're listening. And it's really important for companies to do that. But the mission isn't the only important part. So the two things is there's a mission and then also core values. Okay. Many companies that I meet with, they'll say, we're not going to spend that much time on mission and core values because then they're just words on the wall. You throw it up and it doesn't mean anything. Well, if you're going to have mission and core values and they're just going to be words on the wall, yeah, then they're not going to work. They're not going to work and it's not going to mean anything. But it is actually really important to have them and help them guide and advise how you build your business, how you hire, how you engage with your customers, and then holding yourself and your teams accountable to make sure that you're behaving in a way that's in accordance with your core values or your operating principles. And I'm sure we can talk about that more as we go through. But each company that I have joined is very intentional about their mission and core values, and that helps them to be very intentional about how they build their culture and how they're guardians of that culture.